Good afternoon and welcome to today's session. So yesterday we looked at the learning and examples of sentence correction and spotting errors. We are doing this as a part of the Infosys placement drive that is going to happen on 18th and 19th as well as 20th and 21st in two different places. So today we're going to look at theme detection. So let me tell you what theme detection is all about. In theme detection you will get a particular paragraph, and in that paragraph you need to answer one specific question. Now this specific question could be related to what the author is trying to say, or there will be a very specific question which refers to what is the summary of that paragraph is all about. Now the question is, how is it different from passage comprehension? In passage comprehension you will get a couple of paragraphs or one paragraph with 5 questions each, where it will ask question in terms of your information that you analyze or refer or infer from that particular paragraph. Say for example there is a paragraph about a person and it says this, I gave this example earlier. For example, it says this person was born in 1920 and at the age of 10 he joined the army. Just an example. So the question will be, in which year did he join army? So if he is born in 1920, at the age of 10 if he joins army, the year is 1930. So you basically need to find the answer within the paragraph in different levels. But in theme detection, like the word theme goes, you need to understand the context of the paragraph, what exactly the author is trying to say. So the question will be typically in this particular way on the slide please, which will say that each of the following question contains a small paragraph followed by a question on it. Read each paragraph carefully and answer the question given below it, which means for each paragraph there will be only one question. And theme detection is slightly complex than comprehension, passage comprehension, but if you practice you can master it. Here is the first one. I am going to read it slow. The attainment of individual and organizational goal is mutually interdependent and linked by a common denominator, that is employee work motivation. Organizational members are motivated to satisfy their personal goals and they contribute their efforts to the attainment of organizational objectives as means of achieving these personal goals, which means people in general pay more attention and give more focus and if they give more importance to their personal goal, and when they meet their personal goal, when they achieve their personal goal, the organization also in some way meets its goal. So the question here is, the passage best supports the statement that motivation encourages an individual to give priority to personal goals over organizational goals. Motivation is crucial for the survival of an individual and organization. Motivation is the product of an individual's physical and mental energy. Motivation is the external force which induces an individual to contribute his efforts. Motivation makes organization and society inseparable. So if you read the paragraph again, you can find the answer. Let's read it again. The attainment of individual and organizational goal is mutually interdependent and linked by a common denominator, which is employee work motivation. Now what do you mean by motivation here? It says organizational members are motivated to satisfy their personal goals and they contribute their efforts to the attainment of organizational objective as means of achieving these personal goals, which means they use the organization to meet their personal goal. So the answer here, the passage best supports the statement that motivation encourages an individual to give priority to personal goals over organizational goals, which means when they give importance to the personal goal and when they achieve it, the organizational goal is also met in some manner. So people in general give more importance to their personal goal. Next, due to enormous profits involved in smuggling, hundreds of persons have been attracted towards this anti-national activity. Some of them became millionaires overnight. India has a vast coastline both on the eastern and western coast. It has been a heaven for smugglers who have been carrying on their activities with great impunity. There is no doubt that from time to time certain seizures were made by the enforcement authorities during raids and ambush, but even allowing these losses, the smugglers made huge profits. It basically means smuggling is going on because of the vast coastline India has, right from the West Bengal to Kerala on the east, as well as Kerala to Gujarat on the west. So that's a very long eastern and western coast that we have. Even though the police catches certain smugglers certain times, but still they carry on their activities without fear. With great impunity means being fearless. So despite these crackdowns, despite these arrests, there are still a lot of instances where smugglers are making a lot of profit. The passage best supports the statement that smuggling hampers the economic development of a nation. Smuggling ought to be curbed. Authorities are taking strict measures to curb smuggling. Smuggling is vast increasing in our country owing to the quick profit it entails. I am going to read the options again. Smuggling hampers the economic development of a nation. Smuggling ought to be curbed. Authorities are taking strict measures to curb smuggling. Smuggling is fast increasing in our country owing to the quick profit it entails. The passage best supports the statement. Now, what is the passage? Due to enormous profits involved in smuggling, hundreds of persons have been attracted towards the anti-national activity. Some of them became millionaire overnight. India has a vast coastline both on the eastern and western coast. It has been a heaven for smugglers who have been carrying on their activities with great impunity. There is no doubt that from time to time certain seizures were made by the enforcement authorities during raids and ambush, but even allowing these losses, the smugglers made huge profits. The passage best supports the statement that smuggling is fast increasing in our country owing to the quick profit it entails, which means even though there are crackdowns, there are seizures, but still there is a lot of money to be made. All right. Next, though the waste of time or the expenditure on fashion is very large, yet fashions have come to stay. That means fashion will always be there. They will not go come what may. However, what is now required is that strong effort should be made to displace the excessive craze for fashion from the mind of these youngsters, which means the fashion will always be there. It will keep changing time to time, but it will never go away. What is more important now is younger people are more focused on fashion. That need to stop. They end up spending a lot of money in clothes, what kind of phones they use, what kind of clothes they wear, the brands. They don't look at the expense. That is what the passage means. The passage best supports the statement that fashion is the need of the day. The excessive craze for fashion is detrimental to one's personality. The hoard for fashion should be done away with so as to not let down the constructive development. Work and other activities should be valued more than the outward appearance. Let me read the options again. Fashion is the need of the day. The excessive craze for fashion is detrimental to one's personality. Detrimental means obstruction. The hoard for fashion should be done away with so as not to let down the constructive development. Work and other activities should be valued more than outward appearance. Please read the passage and pick the correct answer. Read it nice and slow so that you can identify. All right, the correct answer is the hoard for fashion should be done away with so as to not let down the constructive development. All right, next, theme detection example next. One of the important humanitarian byproducts of technology is the greater dignity and value that it imparts to human labor. In a highly industrialized society, there is no essential difference between Brahmin and Dalit, Muslim and Hindu. They are equally useful and hence equally valuable, for in the industrial society, individual productivity fixes the size of the paycheck and this fixes social status. What it means is, today we are living in a society which is highly industrialized. There are a lot of businesses, lot of manufacturing units, lot of enterprises. So when people are working in industries, they are no longer categorized into religion and caste. What matters here, the identity is not based on the religion and caste, the identity is based on their ability to work and how much money they earn, and that is directly proportional to what skills they have. All right, read the last line again. They are equally useful and hence equally valuable, for in the industrial society, individual productivity fixes the size of the paycheck, which means the amount of work you do, the quality of work you do, you get paid on the same way, and that determines your social status. It's not about what religion and caste you are, it's about the social status is no longer linked with caste and religion. It's linked with productivity because we are living in a society which is industrialized. The passage best supports the statement that technology decides individuals' social status, caste and religions are man-made, human labor has dignity and value, all individuals irrespective of caste and creed are born equal, industrial society is a great leveler of men. I am reading the options again. Technology decides individual social status, caste and religion are man-made, human labor has dignity and value, all individuals irrespective of caste and creed are born equal, industrial society is a great leveler of men. Please read the passage again. You will find the answer. You just need to read, understand and analyze. The analytics is very important for theme detection. All right, the correct answer here is human labor has dignity and value, which means when you work you gain respect, dignity, and that leads to value of the person in the society. Next, the future of women in India is quite bright, and let us hope that they will justify their abilities by rising to the occasion. Napoleon was right when he declared that by educating the women we can educate the whole nation, because a country can never rise without the contribution of 50% of their population. The passage best supports the statement that India is striving hard for emancipation of women, all women should be well educated, a nation can progress only when women are given equal rights and opportunities as men. Women ought to be imparted full freedom to prove their worth and contribute to the progress of the nation. Please read carefully, you will find the answer. The future of women in India is quite bright, and let us hope that they will justify their abilities by rising to the occasion. Napoleon was right when he declared that by educating the women we can educate the whole nation, because a country can never rise without the contribution of 50% of their population. The passage best supports the statement that India is striving hard for emancipation of women. All women should be educated, should be well educated. A nation can progress only when women are given equal rights and opportunities as men. Women ought to be imparted full freedom to prove their worth and contribute to the progress of the nation. And the correct answer is option D. Women ought to be imparted full freedom to prove their worth and contribute to the progress of the nation. Next, the prevention of accidents makes it necessary not only that safety devices be used to guard exposed machinery, but also the mechanics be instructed in safety rules which they must follow for their own protection, and that lighting in the plant be adequate. Basically, in a factory, there should be safety mechanism. At the same time, the workers should also wear safety gears, and there should be ample lighting. It should not be dark in the work area. The passage best supports the statement that industrial accidents are always avoidable. Industrial accidents may be due to ignorance. Industrial accidents cannot be entirely overcome. Industrial accidents can be eliminated with the help of safety rules. Industrial accidents usually result from inadequate machinery. And the correct answer is option D again, can be eliminated with the help of safety rules. So, enough lighting is also part of safety. To forgive an injury is often considered to be a sign of weakness. It is really a sign of strength. It is easy to allow oneself to be carried away by resentment and hate into an act of vengeance. Vengeance means revenge. But it takes a strong character to restrain those natural passions. The man who forgives an injury proves himself to be the superior of the man who wronged himself and puts a wrongdoer to shame. There is a saying that to forgive, to make a mistake or to err is human and to forgive is God, right? So, you should always have the ability, you should always have the strength to forgive someone's mistake. The passage best supports the statement that the sufferer alone knows the intensity of his suffering. People tend to forgive the things happened in the past. Natural passions are difficult to suppress. Mercy is the noblest form of revenge. A person with calm and composed nature has depth of thought and vision. And the correct answer is option D. Why is it option D? Read the last paragraph of the passage. The man who forgives an injury proves himself to be superior of the man who wronged himself and puts the wrongdoer to shame. So, mercy is the noblest form of revenge. Next, industrial exhibitions play a major role in a country's economy. Such exhibitions, now regularly held in Delhi, enable us to measure the extent of our less advanced industrial progress and mighty industrial power and progress of countries like UK, USA and Russia, whose pavilions are the centers of greatest attention and attraction. So, it talks about any industrial exhibition that happens wherever there is a stall which is managed or which is put up by American companies or Russian companies or British companies. It attracts more people because of the advancement in technology that they have. All right. So, the passage best supports the statement that industrial exhibitions greatly tax the poor economies. Industrial exhibitions are more useful for the developed countries like USA, whose products stand out superior to those of the developing countries. Industrial exhibitions are not much of use to the countries who are industrially backward. Industrial exhibitions boost up the production qualitatively and quantitatively by analytical comparison of countries' products with those of the developed countries. Read the options, read the passage, you will find the answer. The correct answer is the last one. It boosts the production qualitatively and quantitatively, which means in terms of quality and quantity, it improves the technology and production of a country because people end up comparing. The only true education comes through the simulation of the child's powers by the demands of the social situations in which he finds himself. Through these demands, he is stimulated to act as a member of a unity, to emerge from his original narrowness or action and feeling, to conceive himself from the standpoint of the welfare of the group to which he belongs. Which means when a child understands that he or she is a part of the society, they understand the demand for development of the power and to be part of the entire society. The passage best supports the statement that real education will take place if the children imbibe action and feeling, will take place if the children are physically strong, is not provided in our schools today, comes through the interaction of social situations, comes from a self-centered approach of the students. So what is real education that you understood from the passage? Read the passage again, you will understand what should be the correct answer. And the correct answer here is D, comes through the social interaction with social situations. Next, there is a shift in our economy from a manufacturing to a service orientation. The increase in service sector will require the managers to work more with people rather than with objects and things from the assembly line, which means in manufacturing, managers are dealing with equipment, but in service sector, they are dealing with people. The passage best supports the statement that managers should have balanced mind, assembly line will exist in service organization, interpersonal skills will become more important in the future workplace. Manufacturing organizations ignore importance of people. Service organizations will not deal with objects and things. Read the passage carefully and then look at the options. The correct answer is option C. Interpersonal skills will become more important in the future workplace because you have to deal with people, you need to work with people. That's why the word interpersonal. Throughout the ages, the businessman had helped build civilization's great cities, provided people with the luxuries and artists with patronage, and lift his fellow citizens to understand the standard of living. In the last few centuries, the businessman has seeded the industrial revolution around the world. The passage best supports the statement that the businessman is accountable to the society. Businessman lives luxurious and comfortable life. Businessman is the beneficiary of industrial revolution. Businessman is capable of raising his standard of living. Businessman has contributed to the growth of civilization. And the correct answer is the last one, has contributed to the growth of civilization. Next, there is a shift in our economy. I'm sorry, this is repeated. All right. The virtue of art does not allow the work to be interfered with or immediately ruled by anything other than itself. It insists that it alone shall touch the work in order to bring it into being. Art requires that nothing shall attain the work except through the art itself. The passage best supports the statement that art is governed by external rules and conditions. Art is for the sake of art and life. Art is for the sake of art alone. Artist realizes his dreams through his artistic creation. Artist should use his art for the sake of society. And the correct answer is art is for the sake of art alone. There are no external forces there. All right, next. It is up to our government and planners to devise ways and means for the mobilization of about 10 crore workers whose families total up about 40 crores men, women and children. The agriculture is overmanned. The lesser number of agriculturists would mean more purchasing or spending power to every agriculturist. This will result in the shortage of manpower for many commodities to be produced, for which there will be a new demand for the prosperous agrarian class. This shortage will be removed by surplus manpower released from agriculture as suggested above. The passage best supports the statement that employment in production is more fruitful than employment in agriculture. Indian economy is in poor shape basically due to improper mobilization of manpower. A shift of labor from agriculture sector to the industrial sector would uplift the living standard. The industrial sector is labor deficient while the agriculture sector is overmanned in our country. Read the passage, you will find the answer. The correct answer here is option B. Indian economy is in poor shape basically due to improper mobilization of manpower. Next passage. Satisfaction with co-workers, promotion opportunities, the nature of work, the pay goes with high performance among those with strong growth needs. Among those with weak growth needs, no such relationship is present, and in fact, satisfaction with promotion opportunities goes with low performance. This passage best supports a statement that satisfaction is an inevitable organizational variable. Job satisfaction and performance are directly and closely related. Relationship between job satisfaction and performance is moderated by growth need. Every organization has few employees having weak growth need. High performance is essential for organizational effectiveness. And the correct answer is C. Relationship between job satisfaction and performance is moderated by growth need. If somebody wants good growth, they will perform better and they will be satisfied with the job. If not, the opposite will happen. Next, many argue that art cannot be defined. We did this before. Okay, this one. The Indian farmer celebrates the social function in the simplest manner possible. He celebrates a lot of festivals around the year. He celebrates the wedding of his sons and daughters. He entertains his kith and kin and friends and neighbors. This passage best supports the statement that social life of farmers in India. The condition of Indian farmers should be improved. He should be taught the modern method of farming. The Indian farmer is harassed by village touts. He is harassed by moneylenders and tax collectors. Farmers are the backbone of the nation. Very, very simple. Please read the passage. You will find the answer. And the correct answer is first one. It's talking about his social life. Most social network services are web-based and provide means for users to interact over the internet, such as email and instant messaging. Online community services are sometimes considered as a social network service though in a broader sense, social network service usually means an individual-centered service, whereas online community service are group-centered. Social networking sites allow users to share ideas, pictures, posts, activities, events, and interests with people in their network. This passage best supports the statement that Facebook service consists of a representation of each other, often a profile, his or her social links, and variety of additional services. B. A social networking service is a platform to build social networks or social relations among people who, for example, share interest, activities, background, and real-life connections. Several websites are beginning to tap into the power of social network model for philanthropy. Philanthropy means social work or charity. Companies have begun to merge business technologies and solutions such as cloud computing with social networking concepts. And the correct answer is option B, because it's detailing what we do in social network and how we connect. Two more examples for today. The context in the developing and third world countries is worse. Women here are subjected to honor killings. They are still denied the basic rights to education and freedom and face violence and abuse. It was observed in a CARE project, that's the name of a project, that's why it's on capital letters. It was observed in a CARE project working with adolescent girls in India. Adolescent means teenagers, that these girls were considered as temporary people who would cease to exist at least for their fathers once they are married. The passage best supports the statement that a nation can progress only when women are given equal rights and opportunities as men. The future of women in India is quite bright, and let us hope that they will justify their abilities by rising to the occasion. All women should be treated equally. In many places in India, domestic violence is acceptable to women and cultural and ethical implications are imposed on their freedom. Please read carefully, you will find the answer. And the correct answer is option D. Last example for the day. The model was extended to establish a relationship between financial development and economic growth. Co-integration results from show the capital output ratio and the rate of growth of human capital have positive effects on real rate of growth of GDP, irrespective of the indicator of stock market development. An increase in the market capitalization dampens economic growth, whereas turnover has no significant effect, and an increase in the money market rate of interest has a positive effect on economic growth in India. Slightly complex, please read the passage. I am going to pause here, please read the passage. The question, this passage best supports the statement that reform measures on the market rate of interest that were introduced in the Indian banking system appears to have promoted economic growth significantly. The impact of the developments in the financial sector on economic growth in India. There is a shift in our economy from the manufacturing to a service orientation. Real wealth, real effective exchange rate, and the rate of growth of labor have negative effects. And the correct answer is option B, the impact of developments in the financial sector on economic growth in India. All right, so that's about theme detection. So I hope this was helpful in terms of practice, but you certainly need to practice a lot. As far as the Infosys information is concerned, 18th and 19th, day 1 you will have written assessment, day 2 interview. Those who clear written assessment will go through interview. At KLU, please connect with your placement officer as well as APSSDC coordinator for more details and timings and location. 20th and 21st, the drive will be in Aditya College in Kakinada. Again, please do check with your placement officer as well as the APSSDC coordinator. The eligibility criteria, you have to have minimum 60% across your academic background, that is SSC, intermediate and graduation, and this is open for BSc and BCA students with mathematics as background. You will have 2 different rounds. You need to clear the first round, which is written round. In written round you will have reasoning and verbal. Reasoning, you will have 30 questions that needs to be answered in 40 minutes. And verbal, you will have 40 questions that needs to be answered in 35 minutes. Once you clear this, you will go to the HR and technical round of interview. Aptitude, you will have questions on data interpretation, syllogism, data sufficiency, problems on trains, time and work, permutation combination, number series, coding and decoding, and puzzles. And for verbal, you will have questions on theme detection, sentence correction and spotting errors. Reading comprehension, you may get 2 paragraphs with 5 questions each. Please read the questions carefully before you answer. Please do not spend too much time on one question because you have limited time and there is no negative marking. So please be sure of what you're answering. Wishing you all the best. Tomorrow I am going to train you on body language and interview essentials. So please do practice at home in the evening. That's very, very important. All right. Thank you so much for your time. You have a great evening. Bye-bye.